Well, hello there, and welcome to another beautiful night for an adventure from the couch here on Tommy Travels the Second. And a couple weeks ago, I witnessed an event on the internet, and it got me thinking about something that I just want to kind of get off my chest here tonight. When you think about famous inventors or geniuses that have changed American history and the world, you think about people like Albert Einstein or the Wright brothers, Ben Franklin, Thomas Edison, all sorts of people like that, right? Henry Ford is another good example. Totally changed the industry with the invention of the assembly line. And you know what else they have in common besides the fact that they changed the world? That's right. They're all dead. And that got me to thinking that, you know what? There are geniuses and inventors and people that will change the world alive right now in our lifetime. And I want to talk about one of those people tonight. And his name is Elon Musk. You can like him, you can hate him, but that does not change the fact that he is a genius, a literal rocket scientist. And he deserves a little time on Tommy Travels the Second. So if you are brand new to this channel, go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on a thing. And I will see you right after this. Most people think of Elon Musk as just the guy who started Tesla. And he definitely is that, but he is so much more than that. A lot of stuff that the media doesn't really even cover very much. They like to focus on the negative parts of, whenever there's a negative story to report, they're all over that. But not so much on the stuff that he does that's positive and the other ideas that he has out there that will literally change this world in ways that we can't even comprehend right yet. And so I wanted to just take some time and talk a little bit about Elon Musk and the different things that he's into and some of the stuff that really put me in awe of what he's creating here. And first of all, who even starts a car company anymore these days? And one person just says, hey, I think I'll start a car company. There's only one of those guys, and that's Elon Musk. And what's funny is Tesla isn't even his first grand success. PayPal is. He was on the team that started PayPal, turned into this big thing, and then got sold off. He made a fortune from that. And then who spends a fortune on starting a car company? One of the riskiest things you can do. But he did it because his brain doesn't see obstacles. He sees ways around them. I've seen several interviews with Elon Musk, and whenever the interviewer asks him a question, he just says, well, it might seem like you can't do this, but really you could if we did this and that. And then he starts rambling into this talk of scientific stuff that I don't understand. And he says, yeah, I think we could do that. And he does it. And here's a guy who said, hey, I think that I want to start a car company and just make them all electric. And he did. And it's pretty darn successful. Yes, it's had some ups and downs as far as when the Model S came out, keeping up with the demand of it. And he's had problems with the factory and the assembly, and he's had to tweak some things. And when things go down, he just works at it and keeps working, and then that company is going to be a success, I guarantee you, because he is behind it, and he'll put every dime he has into it to make sure it happens. By the way, the event that I witnessed a couple of weeks ago via the internet that I talked about at the beginning of this video, that was the launch of the Falcon Heavy. It was a test that they were doing, and it was amazing to watch. I mean, the technology that goes into that thing is absolutely mind-blowing. And to see those booster rockets land vertically back on the pad, astounding. something that we never thought we would have seen in our lifetime. And there it was right there. And that all started because Elon Musk said, you know what? Eventually, if something happens to this planet, if humans are going to survive, we need to be on other planets. We need to start colonizing and branching out and getting off Earth and making that our sole home. And he envisions a world where people are born on Mars, literally Martians. And he said, we need to start colonizing Mars. He looks so much further into the future than most people do. And he just calculates out and says, well, there'd be this obstacle, and this is how we get around that, and that obstacle, and that's what we can do. And then he just starts going away. And even 5 years ago, or 5 or 6 years ago, when this first came out, I thought, oh, come on. That's not going to happen in our lifetime. That's just absolutely ridiculous. But now, after I saw that, it's like, oh, I think I see where he's going with this. And he's just plodding right along. And someday, we're going to be saying, hey, you know what? There wouldn't be humans on Mars if it wasn't for Elon Musk. Or we may not be saying it, but our kids will be saying it. And it's just kind of cool to see somebody like him around while we're still alive. And be able to see what he thinks and talks about and what he does. It's absolutely cool. Another thing Elon Musk started is something called the Boring Company. He has a little bit of a sense of humor with that because you think of boring as in not exciting, but actually he means boring as in digging, boring through the earth. And the reason he came up with this one is because he was in so much traffic out in LA, and he was like, you know what? I'm sick of sitting in traffic. We need to come up with the better way. And what he thought about is that we need to be in 3D now as far as car travel. You know what? The roads are just too congested to just everybody going on to one highway, that type of thing. So he said, if we could dig underground and we could do that at about as many levels as we want. And we can have cars just park, the thing will take them down a little elevator, bring them into a tube, and then zoom them right to where they want to go. So there could be all sorts of hubs like that all over the city. You want to go to the airport? Get on this one. It'll take you right to the airport. No traffic, no stoplights. I don't know exactly how fast these things are supposed to be able to go, but they're supposed to be able to go pretty darn quick. And then you wouldn't have anything in the way hindering you along the way either. So that would save time all by itself. Now, he's already done one thing that he's taking reporters for rides on. He's built one tunnel like that. And so that's the proof of concept is basically where it's at. But if that is something that takes off, oh my gosh, that could change our transportation system all across the country eventually. And I mean, it's just, who thinks like that? Whenever you see a story on the news or something about solar energy, you always see these big, huge fields filled up with solar panels. Like, that could have been a whole cornfield a few years ago. Now it's all solar panels. And Elon Musk came to the realization that, hey, why are we using up all that real estate to put solar panels in when we have a whole bunch of real estate right on top of people's roofs? And so his thought was, why don't we just make roofs out of solar panels rather than installing them on them? We'll just make the roof the solar panels. And they'll look exactly like roofs do today. No big change, except they will create energy for your home and bring down the price of your electric bills. And right now, that break-even point isn't really feasible because it'll take 30 years or something like that for it to come down to the point where you're making money off this deal. But that's only because there's only, well, I don't know how many, but a handful comparatively to the country of houses that are actually have these things installed. But as the technology keeps improving and getting better, more and more houses will get into it, and there'll be a certain point where all roofs are just going to be made that way, and we're going to see more solar energy being taken from people's roofs than we were from anywhere else. And that's the kind of thing that it takes to get the cost down far enough on solar energy to make it worth switching from another energy source like coal or oil. And those are the kinds of ideas that we haven't seen in a long, long time in this country. And so that's why it's so cool to just see what kind of stuff he's doing. And the last thing that I want to talk about here tonight is the Hyperloop. Elon Musk had the idea of bringing the speed of air traffic and bringing it down on Earth, where it's an elevated train system that would be able to travel in a vacuum tube at faster than the speed of sound. If you're not familiar with the concept, think of when you go to a bank and you go to the drive-thru, put your money in that tube and then it sucks it down to the teller in about 2 seconds. That's the same type of concept, except it would allow for a person to get from LA to San Francisco in about a half an hour or so. And that's 380 miles. Can you imagine what that would do? How that would open up people's area of influence? Like you could live where you live and then work somewhere that's 300, 400 miles away from you if you wanted to. And the drive would really be no different than where you drive now, about 30 miles away or 40 miles away or whatever. Takes you over a half an hour, 45 minutes to get to work. Now you'd be able to go 300 or 400 miles in that same time or less. That's just unbelievable. And so I wanted to talk about Elon Musk today because I just don't think that he gets enough credit for being the genius that he is. And I'm seeing it. It doesn't seem like everyone else is. So maybe if you disagree with me, put some comments below. I would love to hear about that. Well, you guys, this has been another successful adventure from the couch here on Tommy Travels the Second. We talked about Elon Musk and some of the awesome things he has going on. And so if you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and hit like on my YouTube channel. While you're at it, go ahead and hit subscribe and the little bell notification next to it so you can be the first to know when a new adventure comes out. And thank you guys so much for the support that you've given me so far. And until next time, I hope to catch you on the flip side.